The other day I made a video talking about a bunch of changes that Zynga need to make to the marketing of this game, but I also think there are some pretty key changes to the actual game itself that I think would actually help quite a lot. Some of them are just really small, tiny things that I do think would actually be quite nice for the game, just in terms of the overall user experience and quality of life, but some are also much bigger features that would go a really long way in the community. So that is what I'm going to be talking about today, but before I do get into it, make sure you are subscribed to the channel with the notification bell turned on so you don't miss out on any more Star Wars Hunters content. Season 4 releases next week, so make sure you don't miss out. But without wasting any more time, let's jump straight into it. So this first change doesn't apply to me massively since I'm not a big fan of Hunter Fame anyway. I literally do not spend it at all, and I've got about 400k saved up. But one major problem with Hunter Fame and applying that to a hunter is you can only spend 800 Hunter Fame at a time, or you can spend all of it, which really isn't ideal, because the later you go in the levels of a hunter, it gets up to about 12,000 Hunter Fame required to level up. Which means that if you go from 0 to 12,000, you have to apply 15,800 Hunter Fame grants, which is a very slow process and just really boring to do. So I think they really need to change it so that whilst you can still apply 800 Hunter Fame or all of it, you should also just be able to press a button to essentially just go up a full level per hunter and do it that way, because that would make things so much quicker and so much nicer. I really feel like for the user experience there, that would be a much wanted improvement, because it would also just make it a whole lot less frustrating. Because let's say the new hunter comes out and perhaps you don't want them to get to level 30 or 40, but you want to get them to at least level 25 so that they're max level. You can either spend all of your Hunter Fame, which might get you way higher than you actually want, or you'll just have to spend probably an hour or so just adding all the Hunter Fame, which would just be the worst. So I feel like being able to go up one level at a time, or just choose how many levels you want to go up, is definitely something we need to see. Now this next one is another smallish change, but I think it could go quite a long way, and this is definitely something I would like to see, and that is the ability to choose favourite skins. So much like Fortnite, you could go onto the cosmetics customization screen for each hunter and just essentially favourite your favourite skins. Essentially, you could do all of them, or you could do one of them, or 5. And however many you do, let's just say it is 5. When you go into a game as that character, it'd be quite cool if it would just like cycle through your favourite skins so that you're not having to constantly go back and change if you've got a number of skins you really like and want to use. Because I feel like Sentinel has loads of great skins, especially with him being a Stormtrooper. The Patrol Trooper will always be my favourite, but I really like the Mud Trooper and a few others that I've got. So I feel like it would be quite nice to be able to essentially randomise the skin going into each game. But there are some that I probably would say maybe I don't want to be using that much. Maybe it's just like the default colour changes that I'm not fussed about. So if I could choose a selection of them and then just randomly go into each game with that skin, I feel like that would actually be quite an exciting experience, however small it is, but also just quite nice to see as well, because you could go into each game essentially not knowing what skin you're going to use. And Fortnite actually has a fairly similar system in that you can favourite skins, but also if you don't have any as favourites, you can also go in random. Now on Fortnite, I've probably got a couple hundred skins now, which is a little bit mental, but I've been playing it since launch. And when you choose random skins, it's always quite exciting to see what skin you'll go into, because it changes every single game. So something like that in Hunters I think would actually go quite a long way. Now the next thing refers to the Arena Vaults. Now, especially at the launch of the Arena Vault system, I was really not a big fan of it whatsoever. I'm now in the stage where I really don't care for them just because of how ridiculously expensive they are. But I feel like they could improve that system by just adding a few free spins in the Arena Pass, or even in the odd event here and there in the season. Just add an Arena Vault spin, because 1 or 2 Arena Vault spins, honestly, I don't think would lose Zynga any money really, but also it might actually entice people to spend money on them, which obviously from their perspective is really good, but also from a community perspective, if they get a few free spins, they have a chance at getting some really cool cosmetics. Obviously the likely chances are they'll just end up with a sticker, but I personally do quite like the stickers. I think they're just honestly fun to look at even if I don't use them too often. So maybe having 2 free spins in the Arena Pass and then another 1 or 2 spins throughout some of the events, I would 100% be down for that. And since I don't really spend anything on the Arena Vaults anyway, it's not like Zynga are going to be missing out on too much, because the first couple spins are fairly cheap with only like 90 crystals to spend. So someone might use an Arena Vault spin on the 90 crystals one, spin, or they might spend a ton of crystals, and on the final spin, which is 2,400, which again is mental, they maybe use a free spin there. But to get to that point anyway, they would have had to spend loads of crystals, so might have spent some money anyway, so you just don't really know how it's going to work. Personally, I think it's definitely worth trying, honestly, and I think something like that would definitely go a long way. The next thing that I think would help the game a lot, and this is definitely one of the bigger ones, is the addition of private matches. Private matches in Star Wars Hunters would honestly be huge. Myself and many others throughout the community, especially in the Ultimate Hunters, have been talking about creating tournaments and whatnot for this game for a good couple of years now, but obviously we've never really had the systems to be able to go and do that. So if they add private matches into this game, it means we could actually do that, and community run tournaments could be massive for this game. Some people might not even know about Star Wars Hunters existing, but if they see loads of people in the Star Wars community talking about a new tournament coming, something competitive, something fun, that might be a really exciting thing to do. But also just an overall esports thing as well. I would love to essentially create either a series of tournaments or some kind of league maybe, and actually be able to chuck in some money to essentially give some kind of reward to the players. There's obviously so many ways that could be done, whether it's a sponsored tournament or each team essentially puts in an entrance fee into this tournament or league, and then there's an overall prize pool. And I just think something like that would be a huge amount of fun. I feel like a lot of the community would get really on board with that, and at that point Zynga wouldn't even have to really do anything. The community in itself will do the marketing, and this was something that was really great about Star Wars Squadrons. The game itself got private matches in the November update, I believe, or even the December one, I can't remember. And as a result of these private matches and just the way the game worked, we actually had a couple of pretty major tournaments in the community, and they were so much fun. And I really feel like Star Wars Hunters is a game where we can make that happen, but Zynga just needs to put that system in the game, and we can honestly handle the rest. Now, the final addition to this game that I think they need to make is just more platform releases. The game is obviously on mobile and Switch right now, and with the game itself being a huge amount of fun and a genuinely good quality game, I feel like it's something that could do pretty well on console and PC. I know loads of people who aren't playing this game because it's not on PC or consoles, so if they actually had a native release on them, that could change everything. It could introduce a huge wave of new players coming to this game, which will benefit it in so many ways. They wouldn't even have to add more monetary systems to try and make more money, which again I am completely against because they're not marketing the game very well. But a huge influx of new players could generate a huge amount more interest in the game and obviously revenue for Zynga, so that is something that I think would go a long way. But I'm curious to hear what you guys think about all of these changes, however big or small, and let me know what changes you would like to see in the comments as well. That is it from me today though. Thank you all very much for watching, and may the force be with you always.